Hi, my name is Laura Kelsey. I'm a singer-songwriter and filmmaker in Nanaimo, BC. And welcome to New Home, New Music. I want to acknowledge that we film these episodes on Coast Salish and Nanaimo First Nation territory, people who were the first keepers of this land. Nanaimo is derived from the name of the Nanaimo First Nation, and it's now home to people from all over the world, including the 8 musicians that are featured in this series. I'm honored to have met these musicians and to showcase their stories of resilience, struggle, and hope that brought them to Canada.
Hi everyone, my name is Qiana Lau. So some of my close friends call me Qiana. My Chinese name is Liu Ziqian Lao Zixin. I am a musician, music teacher, and a mother of 2 children. I'm originally from Guangzhou, China. We have a saying, it's always spring in Guangzhou. It just always feels like spring. So we have very little difference between seasons. It's always very humid and hot, but there aren't so much seasonal change. You feel you have to adapt. It's a city pretty close to Hong Kong too, so we share the same mother tongue, Cantonese, and I can speak Cantonese and Mandarin, English, some French and Portuguese. Back in my time, it was very popular for people, especially for girls, to learn music, dancing, piano, violins, something like that. And my father picked piano for me. So at first, how he got me interested into piano was that he brought me to those 5-star hotels and just watch people's performances. And I was very simple. I just wanted to dress up and be cool. And then my dad got me my first piano. So just one day he had a couple guys moving a big heavy item in my home. I was like, what's that? And it's a piano. And then they took me to piano lessons. That was how I started. So I started to learn piano at the age of 6. And then I never stopped. And then I went to high school. We had to pick a direction for our profession. So there were Chinese, politics, history, and chemistry, biology, all sort of other subjects, but I was not very interested in them. And then you could also pick fine art and music. So I thought, I've been good at music the whole time, maybe I can go for it. So I just make the decision on my own. I told my parents I'm just gonna pick music. So then it was really competitive to get into a good music university. And I had to, I spent 2 years training intensively just to pass all the exams. So sometimes I did school in the morning, I had to practice at night, and I had to practice almost 5 to 8 hours every day. And then finally I got into my dream university, which is Shanghai Conservatory of Music in Guangzhou, where I studied music education, and I majored piano, minored vocal. When they told us to pick another instrument, I chose guzheng. Guzheng. This is a Chinese traditional instrument. During my 4 years in university, I was working part-time as a music teacher already in music centers. I was teaching lots of piano lessons to students of all ages, all levels. And that was when I also started teaching non-Chinese speakers, because we have lots of foreign immigrants in Guangzhou, because Guangzhou is a trade city where people from all over the world come to settle down when they travel. So I was teaching piano lessons in English sometimes. That's when I also gained experience teaching music in a foreign language. When I wasn't teaching, I was busy with other things, for example, gigging. When I went to hotels and car shows and business conferences to perform my piano pieces, sometimes I did modeling as an individual or in a group. So at first, I remember when it was close to my graduation, when everybody was planning for the future. I heard my schoolmates saying they want to get married, have kids, they want to have a full-time job in a school. To me, it's very intimidating. I don't think this is a plan for myself. I didn't know what I wanted to do. But I know one thing, I want to go out of my country to explore the world. And the easiest thing to come out is to study in a school. So I just came out, and that's the start of my journey in Canada. First, I came to Vancouver since 2013, and I moved to Nanaimo. When I was in Canada, I studied early childhood education, and I also did some business programs. I think what I learned from those programs enabled me to have my career right now, which is a music studio owner. It's named Joy Music Studio, 卓越音乐. Feel free to check it out. Being a music teacher or musician can make a good living in China. But when I came to Canada, I found the challenges for me are that I lack of a local network where I can easily get job referrals. And then it's the language barrier. Although I can speak very fluent English, somehow in the beginning I wasn't confident enough, and then there might be hidden rules when they would rather pick somebody who is a native speaker, or and then another challenge is the different music genres. When Chinese pop songs was very popular in China, and then we did classical pieces, and we did some popular contemporary musics that were those that are popular in China aren't very popular in Canada. So you have to kind of relearn people's taste, but doesn't mean you like that kind of style of music. And I know here it's a lot of options. People do punk rock, electric music, and they have a lots of classical old English songs that I am not very familiar with. Far as teaching music lessons, I think Canada pays more fairly when I teach in the music studios, and it's also it just pays better. You can make a good living out of teaching music lessons in music studios. if you don't mind working the odd hours, for example, evenings and weekends or stat holidays. For me, before I became a mom, it was not a big deal. But right now I find it also very challenging to adapt to those hours anymore when I have young children to take care of, because during those hours are when they are not in daycares anymore. That's when I have to cook and clean and put them to bed. And during the weekend, that's when I want to spend quality time with my children and my family. And that's something I also very value. So when I chose to prioritize my family and children, then I kind of lose more opportunity to be in the music career. I did consider applying to be a music teacher in the public schools, and then we found out the requirements for foreign music teachers are very harsh. First of all, they barely recognize your overseas certificate or degree. You have to kind of transfer some of the credit, and they would decide if they recognize your whole degree or if they partially recognize your degree, and then you have some more credits to make up for. And then other than that, you still need to take at least 1 year teaching certificate program. And in addition to that, you need to prove that your language proficiency meets the standard, which is pretty high, because I checked they need you to have total IELTS score as a 7 in total, and then speaking band 7, and then writing is a band 6.5 or above. So to a lot of foreign music teachers, it's already kind of a very big obstacle. And even if for me it's challenging, I know if I invest the time to do the 1 year program and to have my degree recognized, and if I'm willing to spend more time and more money to make up those credits and to take that IELTS, because I had very good IELTS scores already, but you never know what score you're gonna get for the next exam, because for writing and speaking is very subjective. So it's up to whether you get a nice examiner who thinks you're good at speaking English and writing, if they agree with what you think in your essay. But then now I feel I need to keep working. I need to have a stable income to support my family. I want to have enough time to spend with my family when I am already doing the studio. Then where do I find the time and money to do the program again? Especially when lots of teaching positions in Canada are contract work or substitute work, when they can't guarantee stability. Then is it worth it to put this much time and money into a teaching certificate just to get a sub work? This is a big question. Later, I'm going to perform a song written by myself. The name is Hope is Where I Call Home. I created this song last year, back in 2021. So this song is about mental health, misunderstanding, discrimination, and and then rediscovery of self, and finding hope. It comes from my personal experience, and also, I would say lots of people who are struggling with mental health. From a lot of people struggling with mental health experience. I suffer from lifetime depression and anxiety, and it worsened when I've been struggling growing up. I'm not the person who can find happiness very easily, and then but I never knew. I just thought maybe because things, I have lots of expectations put on me, so I always want myself to be the best, to be perfect, to make my friends, my family proud. And then my condition worsened when I had my children, and now I'm much better. I cope much better. Luckily, a lot of my friends who really know me, they're very supportive. They understand me. They don't view me in a different way. They just say, hey, you just go take care of yourself and you can do it. But a lot of close family members, they don't understand me, and it makes me feel very isolated. I feel very misunderstood, especially when I came here alone in a new country. I had nobody. I feel I had nobody to back me up, and I really hope for understanding during my hardest time. I don't need extra critics because I have enough inside of me. So one day I was cooking, that melody just started in my head. I'm like, oh, that's a good material for a song. So I just ran to my piano. I started playing and singing, and it took me an hour to get the whole song done. Yeah. And I want to use this opportunity to sing my heart out, to spread the awareness, and to hope for more understanding. And I'm glad that people who understand me, they always support me, and that's what matters. That's why in the song, I at last it says, I chose to live for myself. I'm not perfect, but I am loving, I'm giving. I do things that make a better world. That's not just to say to myself, to anybody who struggles. I hope that they believe in themselves. They're worthy. They're loved. And just ignore those haters and naysayers. I know it's always gonna be haters. And you can never please everyone. And I know as first I am a minority, and then I am a woman, and then I am a mother. So it actually gives a lot of chances for people to attack us. Because it can be racist, it can be people who still don't have enough respect to women, and people who feel that they are entitled to tell new mothers what they should teach their own children. So I realize I have to focus on myself, and I want my song to help people realize that they can do the same too. Every time I close my eyes, the words hit me again. They hurt me like 1,000 needles you in my head. Those people that I called home treat me like nobody. It's sad that I said I don't care, but I still care. You know I didn't ask for it. I was just an innocent little girl. You really think that I like the version of me? The pain, the scars, the struggles almost eat me up every day. There's more than you think you know behind the real story. If you don't know compassion and ease, you can shut your mouth. From now on, I will live for myself. Give myself love and positivity I deserve. It's true that I'm not perfect, but I'm loving, giving, doing things that make a better world. This time I chose to live for myself. Let the hate, judgment, stigmas die out by themselves. I owe no one an explanation, so just live, love, and love like nobody is watching. It's time to say goodbye to haters and naysayers. I own my mistakes, but I never my mistakes. Pat my bags beyond my way and never looking back. There's a place where I call home, its name is